For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of an overview on kind of Outwell's sort of mat collection. So we've got quite a range of mats to kind of go through, and all of them have sort of actually very similar names. So admittedly it can be quite confusing. So I thought if I give you a bit of an overview on this, we can kind of get through it and understand a bit better on why there's certain models in the range. We're going to start with what we call sun-floating mats, or SIMs for short. So this starts at a really kind of their starting point tends to be what they call their sleep-in range. The sleep-in range comes in different depths, all about the same sort of height and width. But the main thing is more your traditional self-inflating mat. Reason being, you've got foam located all the way around it, and so it's a solid foam throughout it and a single rail around the outside. Pretty much all of kind of Outwell's mats come with this sort of, they call it the kind of high flow valve, or FHF valve. So it's quite a clever little valve that is unique to them, and what it's designed to do is, as the name suggests, get a large amount of air directly into them. So you've just got a very simple kind of part which just pops out and pops back in. Admittedly, I think from a packing up point of view, it helps to get the air in and out quite quickly. From an out point of view, one thing you will have to do is when you sort of squeeze and roll out to get the air out, you do need to sort of pop it, seal it, so then it's not going to, reinflate itself. You can unravel it and then do a sort of bit more of a tighter roll. You can check out our own little tutorial video about sun-floating mats and how to inflate and deflate them. So that's well worth a watch. But it's quite a nice little thing. And if you wanted to, there is an adapter you can buy with Outwell to just inflate that to make your mat a bit firmer. One thing I will say actually is that the first time you do it, naturally they do take a little bit of time to get up. The foam needs almost the ability to expand off itself, so it does take a little bit of time. So that additional pump, that does really help to keep it nice and easily. The next level up from kind of your normal sleep-in is up to the Dream Catcher. Now, in many ways, it's the same sort of construction, so you've got the same level of foam built into it. Difference being is actually it's a little bit longer in terms of length. So, for example, your sleep-ins are around about 183, so just over 6 foot, whereas the your Dreamcatcher is about 195, so it's nearly sort of 12 or so centimeters, so good 4 inches taller. So for someone like myself, that's where the Dreamcatcher is really quite a nice sleep-in, definitely more price orientated. Dreamcatcher is that way as well. The other thing that sort of benefits from kind of the Dreamcatcher is actually it's got cutouts or little holes through the actual foam. Now what this helps is actually it helps to keep the pack size nice and small. I've got a little example here I can show you. So you can see from the construction here, we've got sort of holes drilled into this. Now, this means that you can get a longer mat, but also keeps the pack size about the same sort of size. So, for example, we've got the Dream Sleep-In and Dream Catcher. Both same pack sizes, about the same sort of diameters, but the same size mats. Difference being is that's best part, of sort of 12 centimeters longer, and also what you find as well is a little bit of airflow in the mat itself. Yeah, again, you still got the same kind of high flow valve built into it. Your next level up, again, they all from this point kind of carry on with the Dream name. We move up to the Dream Haven. Now, the Dream Haven is slightly different. So what you have, again, depending on the depth of the mat itself, whether it be a 5, a 7, a 10, or even up to a 12 centimeter, you've got the same quality of foam built into it. Different being, you've got this what they call their 3D sort of sidewall. So as you can see with here, you've got a single weld just located around the outside. With here, you've got a dual part, so what you find actually is a bit more stability on the mat. Generally, it's a better surface, and you've got a thicker layer foam the whole way through. What you also find as well is because you've got sort of the holes kind of burrowed through, it keeps the pack size a little bit smaller, and generally finds a bit more comfier as well. There is a slight flannel part to the actual Dream Catcher, which you don't get on Sleep-In. So again, it's another feature why as you move up for the range, you get more features. So you've got the same kind of flannel kind of finish, which is really quite nice. And this really kind of is your sort of top end sort of sim. Just the fact that it's got a bit more price orientated. Whole range as well is essentially is PFC free. So it's just again a harmful kind of sort of chemical that the kind of all these mats are kind of avoiding. And last but not least, we move to the Dream Boat. So Dream Boat is kind of Outwell's top end self-inflated mat. And it's got a couple of extra features as well. So what you find is actually the finish on the mat, oh, here she goes, is basically a bit more rougher stretch polyester. So it's got a much nicer handle to it, much nicer for actually sort of laying on, and if you're sort of bare skins upon it, I think you will notice difference as you move up directly through the range. One of the main unique selling points kind of the Dream Boat is its construction. So again, my little handy little dam. So the Dream Boat construction is a little bit different again. So you see how there's cutouts built into it. So what this actually enables you to do is have a hot and cold side to it. So when you, if it's kind of hot, for example, what you do is you have the cutouts built on the top. This essentially, when you're lying down on it, gives airflow beneath your back, and obviously keeps it a bit cooler. If you sort of want to keep yourself warm, you turn it that way around, so your body's in contact with a full level of foam. The cutouts, of course, are quite clever because not only do you get a hot and cold side, but also it helps to reduce the amount of foam when you come to packing it away. And again, very eco-friendly. Outwell reuse all of these cutout points in other things as well, so none of the actual product is wasted. What you also find as well is there's a little bit of a gap down the outside, so it's really just welded on the top and the bottom. Again, this helps to enable airflow throughout the mat. And again, it just kind of keeps it nice and easy, and you don't really compromise too much kind of on the R value of the mat, i.e. kind of how well it's insulated. So that works really quite nicely, and still you've got your sort of high flow valve nice and neatly on there as well. Typically what you find with when you get to sort of doubles is you'll have two of these, one for each side, just to make it easy getting the air in and of course the air out. But that's a really good, nice, obviously, understanding of why you are different. So just to confirm, that's going to be your Dream Boat. The Burrows is going to be your Dream Haven. Same with the Dream Catcher. And then when you get to the sleep-in, it's just constant foam. So yeah, really quite nice little difference. Another thing to kind of look at as well in kind of Outwell sort of sleeping range, not only of course they do different sizes and sort of different depths, but is they do kind of an alternative to an airbed. So in their kind of airbed alternative ranges, you have a similar sort of, say, good, better, best thing. So whereas we've got foam built into the sim mats, obviously it helps for being better comfort, being warmer. You can use this a bit more all year round. Going back to kind of an airbed thing where it's just literally a volume of air, so naturally you've got cold coming from the ground, your body heats is, it's not as insulated. You can go for something a bit more like this. So this is the real. So the real airbed is, again, sort of rigid in its way. A single weld around the outside. And because it's sort of welded around here, you don't have that same distortion when you're sort of like on a big airbed. It tends to be sort of just isolated across the width. So again, that's a quite nice little feature. If you wanted to sort of jump up, the next sort of model similar up to that really is going to be your sort of Dream Spell. So again, with that Dream name, a bit confusing. So the Dream Spell is very much like the real, in the same way that it's almost like a comparison to an airbed. Got your ridges across here. Difference being is the sidewall now. So you've got your 3D sidewall. So again, it's a bit more higher profile, a bit more comfy, a bit more stability. So if you're sort of looking from side to side, again, that will be an option. All of them come as standard with the high volume valve. So that's the same principle again, but it's just purely air. So whereas the Sims, or self-inflated mats, will obviously inflate and deflate a little bit on its own. These, you're relying purely on a pump to obviously inflate it. And to be honest, it's not something I would probably want to do by mouth, because you need a lot of puff to do that. And of course, with the sort of the volume of air, it's surprising how much air is actually inside of it. The alternative is in a new model they brought in for the 24 season, is we've got the Dreamscape. Again, love the Dream name. The Dreamscape is the same pretty much as the Dream Spell, just the fact it's insulated. It's got a slightly different flock tunnel, more similar to the top end like we see with the self-inflated mats, and actually it's a little bit longer as well. So all around, again, you sort of have like your good, better, best. As we have it with this range, you're saying you have here good, better, best, and you can pick and choose what you wanted. The joys, obviously, of course, of these kind of style is that they do pack down a little bit smaller, and kind of are a little bit more inexpensive, just because of the nature of, and obviously the components that go into each mat. But hopefully that kind of gives you a bit of a better idea about the whole collection. If you've got more questions or queries, by all means let us know via the comments box below. And of course you can pretty much nearly see all of these mats via our website, which obviously with more details on individual stuff, from the pack sizes, pack weights, the overall dimensions. We've got little things on kind of the inflation valves as well. So that gives you a bit more of an idea about kind of Outwell's collection of sort of mats. Of course, they do the normal airbeds as well, but that's pretty much everything. Hopefully it's been helpful, and we'll see you again soon in the next Attwoolls Outdoors video.